Welcome back. So Mr. Oye, I'm trying to call it a longer name, but apparently someone's watching. The Senate President's watching, and he made a tweet. He says, "Made in Nigeria will be backed with laws to ease business. For instance, the Procurement Act passed in the Senate. We'll get hopefully we'll get a concurrent."
Going back and saying that can manufacturers meet up has always been an excuse. What we need to say is manufacturers will meet up. The whole aspect of local content lies on the fact. Don't forget, local content-wise, we are a very strong country because we have 200 million people. What pushed local content in China was there are over 1 billion people. So we are basically trying to say, you all from abroad, you want to enjoy our market? Come and produce, join with us, and produce in Nigeria. And that's what basically we're saying. We should not leave it to these excuses that, oh, will we be able to meet up and this and that and that.
But you do know that some companies, some manufacturers had moved out of Nigeria owing to some of these factors here. And you even said it here that these are the challenges you're having. I asked the question again. What modalities are the manufacturers putting in place to ensure that they meet up with the demand that will, because the demand will come if this goes through, what the Senate has said, if it goes through, the demand will come.
Yes.
How ready are the manufacturers? What factors, what are the things you put in place to ensure that you meet up, apart from the population? I mean, there are factors to production, right? Land, manpower, money, and all. You don't have access to credit. You don't have power right now. But if this demand comes through, with all these things that are affecting you, can you meet up?
The economics of the demand will be there, and manufacturers will meet up. Because it's all at the end of the day based on the economics and having the demand. I am part of MAN. But in my own personal business, I'm in engineering in the foundry industry. And I can tell you that I've been working for the last 30 years at roughly 20-25% of capacity. And I've been expanding. So it's only common sense for a businessman, when he sees there's demand, to put more funds to expand and make better products.
Okay, let me just ask a question from Ken, who sent an email. He said, you mentioned that Nigerians don't patronize made in Nigeria goods, products. You are right. But the simple reason, as I think some of us have said here, is that low standard quality products. He's talking about he bought cotton board that is made in Nigeria, and then it pulls in his ear. So is he going to go back to the same product? That brings us back to the question of standardization. How do we ensure that the quality remains even in the face of everything that the country is facing in terms of manufacturing?
You see, this is where SON has to own up. And SON has a policy to adopt and adapt standards. Okay, now in the, let's take again the experience of the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry is a very difficult industry because the standards are extremely high. And what is produced for them has to have basically zero defect. Now, how did the oil and gas industry ensure that the standards were kept? Was because they set up systems that they will come and cross-check your standards. I'll give you a case where I have had in my own plant two inspectors on a permanent basis ensuring that the standards of my products are the prerequisite. So there is a system if there is a will. Again, standards organization has to own up.
But you have an association. We seem to be staying with you before we come back to the union here. But you have an association. Do you have a standards structure in the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria to ensure that your members follow a certain guideline?
Basically, man is the voice of manufacturers, okay? And we are an association. It doesn't mean that everybody is going to follow the right standards. We are an association of manufacturers. One of the things that we can guarantee is that whoever is our member is a manufacturer. Because once you start passing local content and supporting local content as we start as a government, then you will see that a lot of people will claim that they are manufacturers. And many might not be manufacturers. So how are we going to ensure that? That can only happen through man.
Now, Ade Lagmo is saying that how do we have our products meet standards, parameters and of the international market? We have bilateral trade agreements we are parties to, but our goods do not access, for instance, some countries. Just still tying back to what you have said. You said we made this in Nigeria. How do we ensure that the standard is what we can also take out and, everybody will agree with it?
Yeah. That's from the union side. Yeah. He has talked about the manufacturer side.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When you say union side and manufacturer side, I think we're in the same boat. What I think, you see, there are some of these things that I would have loved to limit it to my sector. You understand? Recently, of course, that was during the Clinton administration. Yeah, of course, that the AGOA was mooted. And you discover that countries like Mauritius took advantage of AGOA and were able to export some of their products because there are standardization. You understand what I'm saying? In Nigeria, those who are saddled with the responsibility, you understand what I'm saying, of ensuring standard, those who monitor some of these things, they are not on duty. I'm sorry to say. And that's why we have pockets of manufacturers here and there. Of course, you are aware that even some of the consumables we have here, some people just use one of their toilets or a room in their apartment to begin to brew some of these things. You understand me?